What's up? What's up? What's up, you guys? Happy Saturday evening. Hello. How are you guys? Happy Saturday evening. Hope you guys had a great Saturday. What's going on? Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. We are live on both channels. So welcome if you are on the ReallyBTV channel or if you're on the ReallyBTV Reviews channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we are here to do a review of the Netflix documentary, The Crash. The other day, Tracy came in and she said she had just got finished watching it and it pissed her off. And I said, girl, what you talking about? The Crash? What you talking about? And then I found out what it was. Now, I remember this case because I absolutely followed this case via like TikTok. So I didn't follow it in real time, but I fell into the rabbit hole. One day I came across one TikTok and then I fell into the rabbit hole of all of the different TikToks. Now, let me say something. I'm gonna get into my notes in a second, but the one thing that I wish they had done a better job of, and maybe they couldn't because the family agreed to participate as well as Mackenzie. So maybe there were certain things that maybe there were certain stipulations made. But I'm going to tell you the one thing that I wish that we had seen were some of the police surveillance of those parents. I think those parents got a really good at it compared to some of what we saw on social media. If you followed it, you found some of the TikToks, and I'm gonna try to find some before we get off of here. I should have looked them up before I came on, but I'm gonna try to find some because if y'all could see. If y'all could see some of those videos of the parents, baby, they were horrible. Hold on, let me see. Mackenzie Shrella parents. Let me see this. Yeah. Hold on. Let me save this. I'm going to play this one because this is the one I remember. It was one. Is that the one I'm talking about? That might be the one. I'm going to play that. Remind me to play that. I want to get into the story and stuff first. Okay. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Chuck said, what is The Crash about? So The Crash is a documentary about a case of a 17-year-old young lady named Mackenzie Shrella. Mackenzie Shrella killed her boyfriend and another mutual friend of theirs. And the documentary is about the case, about the evidence, and how we and the conclusion, right? If you're not familiar with the case at all, I'm gonna get into the details. So, and for those of you that are familiar, just hang in there with me while I go through it for the people who are not familiar. So it took place in Ohio, in the state of Ohio. So Mackenzie Shrella was a 17-year-old, her boyfriend Dominic, and then their mutual friend Donovan. They were in a car and they ran straight into a wall. And what we found out is that it wasn't quite straight into a wall, but we're going to get into that too. You see the footage and you've seen this all over social media. You see the footage of the car going 100 miles an hour down a straightaway road. And then you hear the crash and you even see a little bit of the crash. They have footage from a camera on a building, and you can kind of, I think they purposely don't have it focused in as much so we don't see all of the details of it, because clearly people are in that car and two of those people don't live, don't walk away from the crash. So I want to tell you, I looked at two things because on TikTok said y'all need to go over, before or after you watch the documentary. There's this other There's a show on Hulu called, hold on, let me go to my notes. There's a show on Hulu called Killer Case, and I'm actually gonna go back and watch some of those because it's got like 7 seasons. But they basically, it's like a true crime show where they take one event and then they give you an hour-long breakdown of the case. So because it's only an hour long, it doesn't get into all of the details. But what the person on TikTok was saying was Davion, that's his name, Davion Dominique McKenzie. But what the person was saying was, there's some things that are in that episode that aren't necessarily on the documentary. And then there's some things, I found an article online that talked about some things that weren't in the documentary either. So let me go through my notes. Mean Girl Murder and Killer Case both have her story. Mean Girl Murder, okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. That's on HBO. All right, I'm gonna check that out too. Hold on. Mean Girl Murder on HBO. Mean Girl. HBO. Okay. I'm gonna check that out. I might check that out tomorrow. So let me say this, and I know y'all know when I take my notes, I might be all over the place because I watched the first I watched the Hulu show first, and then I watched the documentary. So my notes might be a little all over the place. So feel free to drop stuff in the chat that if you feel like I missed something or you want me to make sure I talk about something, feel free to drop that in the chat as I'm going through my notes. But this is what I want to say before I get into my notes. The one thing I want to say is, and I know y'all get sick of me talking about the parents, and sometimes you might even feel like I'm stepping on your foot because maybe I am, because maybe I'm talking about you, because maybe you're that kind of a parent, and I'm unapologetic about it. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm unapologetic about stepping on y'all's toes as parents, because I deal with y'all's kids 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday. I deal with what y'all send to school. And when I'm telling you these things that I'm seeing in school, and I'm telling you what's happening when you are not around your children, I need y'all to start listening to the adults that spend time with your kids instead of always thinking that the adults are trying to lie on your child or trying to create issues or trying to make your children out to be horrible people. The next time an adult tells you that your child did something and you want to say, you just hating on my child, I want you to ask yourself, to what end? I want you to ask yourself, what does this person have to gain by lying on my child? Why is this person, or why would this person lie on my child? I just want you to ask yourself that question, because Mackenzie is a cautionary tale of what will, I'm not even going to say can, what will happen to your child when you choose to, 1, be their friend instead of their parent, 2, you don't want to listen when other people are telling you what's going on with your child, and 3, you refuse to put any consequences in place for behavior. Because when you look at this documentary, there were so many warning signs, and there were so many ways that the parents could have gone left, but they chose to go right. Now, let me just go ahead. I'm going to go through my notes. But y'all will understand. I'll get deeper into the parents when I get to that part of my notes. But I'm going to just go through my my notes. Now, we start off with Miss Mackenzie, who at the time of the crash was 17 years old. Okay. Her dad got suspended from his job because of comments he made. Well, then what did he say on the doc that was that bad? Damn. Okay. I mean, I don't think. Ooh, what did he say? Because I don't feel like he said anything in the documentary that he probably ain't said a million times before. But okay, whatever. I mean, well, I don't think he's a nice person, so I don't give a fuck. So we start off with Mackenzie and her social media. Now, listen, that's the other thing with these churn. And I know I'm on social media clearly, but that's the other thing with these churn. Their social media is gonna be the downfall, and the bane of his of these kids' existence. He said things in the classroom as well. What you mean, Tawanda? He said things in the classroom. The way they basically talked about Davion like he was an afterthought. Yeah, I agree with that one, Bap. And I like the fact that when his mother did the victim impact statement, his mother said Davion was not cargo. Because the prosecutor even said that in his closing argument, Davion was cargo in the back seat. The fuck he wasn't. He was a person. He wasn't cargo. He was a person in the back seat. But we'll get to that. He was a teacher at a Catholic school, and he was talking about smoking weed. And oh, well, now see, I ain't know that's what his job was. I ain't know he was a teacher at a Catholic school. Oh well. So on Mackenzie's social media, she wanted to be a content creator, right? Like a lot of the kids these days, she wanted to become this big content creator. And so she pretty much lived her life through social media. She wanted to be a model, and that's the things that she wanted to do. So they had a lot of social media stuff from her. But one of the things that was on her social media was her doing drugs, her smoking weed while she was driving, her showing herself taking mushrooms and things of that nature. Now, again, like I said, she was 17 years old. And there was a lot of footage that they showed us of them smoking weed, her and her friends. Now, that damn Rosie little girl, and I mean, she's over the age of 18 now, but the reason why I say little girl, Rosie, you still don't understand what the problem is. Because Rosie, her little friend, was defending the whole thing. I mean, yeah, we were smoking weed. I mean, what was the big deal? It was just weed. What's the big deal? And even the father was like, I mean, yeah, I know my daughter smoked weed, but that's better than her shooting up. Like, I didn't have a problem with her smoking weed. I don't have a problem with me smoking weed. I wouldn't have a problem with you smoking weed. I mean, it's just weed. Weed is better than alcohol. And when he said that, I said, oh, he a weed head. Clearly. Because weed heads say that shit. The only person I have ever heard say that weed was better than alcohol is somebody that smoked weed. That's it. I ain't never heard nobody else say, well, you know, weed is better for you than alcohol. The only person I ever heard say that is people who smoke weed. And again, if you're grown and you within the laws, whatever the laws are in the state of Ohio, that's your business. But I could tell then. Now, on the documentary, they had some of Rosie's friends. The other little girl, young lady, sorry, she's not, none of them are little girls. The other young lady talked about how Mackenzie, you know, didn't like bullies and would defend her, and how she used to be bullied, and Mackenzie always had her back. But then we saw all these social media posts where people talked about how Mackenzie was not a nice person, and how she was a bully, and she was a bitch, and all these horrible things. You know what I'm saying? Look at Brooklyn talking about some, well, weed is better than alcohol. Smoke much? I didn't call you. Yeah, the redhead little girl, Rosie, and her boyfriend Bubba. I knew when the boy said his name was Bubba, I knew we was in trouble. I said, okay. Because that's not what your mama named you. Your mama didn't name you Bubba, but okay, Bubba. So Dominique, who they call Dom, was Mackenzie's boyfriend. And here was the second the first red flag. And her parents followed her on social media. So it's not that her parents did not know that she was smoking weed and driving her car all up and through social media. They probably showed 6 or 7 different clips of that girl smoking. I mean, a big ass joint. Did you see how big? I know we don't call them joints, blunts, whatever y'all call them. Did you see how big that shit was that she was smoking? I said that was some Cheech and Chong shit that she was smoking. That was some Cheech and Chong shit that she was smoking. But the second red flag was, so that was the first red flag, is that your parents are following you on social media and you cussing, you're in school on your phone all day long, you cussing at school, you smoking weed while you're driving, all of the things. And your parents, not only they said their parents were following her, but her parents was liking her videos and shit. So y'all are clearly okay with this. The second red flag was, and I know y'all caught this because y'all are smart like me. She was 17 years old. And her boyfriend, Dom, was 20. And they had been dating for 4 years. I'm going to say it one more time. She was 17 years old on the day of the accident. Dom, I ain't got to that, Tawanda. Give me a second. That's going to be my third red flag. Hold on. Give me a minute. I'm slow walking this thing. She was 17 on the day of the accident. He was 20. They had been dating for 4 years. Which means that when she started dating him, she was 13 and he was 17. Now, she said that her friend said, well, she was a freshman in high school, and I'm assuming he was a junior or senior in high school. And again, y'all, we've all done it. When we were in school, we dated older. We all did it. When I say all, I don't mean every single person in this world, but it wasn't a big deal. If you were a freshman in high school, you dating a junior or senior. That ain't what, but I'm just putting some things into context. Because then what we found out was they were living together. At the time of the accident, they were living together. Let me say that one more time. At the time of the accident, they were living together, which once again, she was 17. He was 20. Now, the parents said that he had his own apartment. We're going to get to Dom in a minute. And I don't want to speak ill of the dead, so I'm going to say something real quick about Dom, and then we're going to keep moving. But her parents said that she just moved in because she had just graduated from high school back in June. So the parents were saying, well, she just moved in. That her parents said she had just moved in after she graduated. But in the other the killer case episode on Hulu that I watched, that ain't what they said on the killer case episode. On the killer case episode, it said they had been living together for a while. But then on the crash documentary on Netflix, the parents were like, oh, well, she just moved in when she graduated, which means that she would have only been living there for a month. But when you hear them talk about the problems that they were having and the issues that they were having, it doesn't sound like that had only been going on for a month. But we'll get there. The boyfriend's the boyfriend's family must have money because they said Dom had money and he used to buy her designer stuff. But I also think Dom was selling a little weed. I don't think Dom was El Chapo. Let's be clear. I'm not saying that Dom was El Chapo. But Dom was selling a little weed. Now, I'm not going to say nothing else bad about Dom because he ain't here to defend himself. But I'm just telling you what I think. And the reason why I say that is because did y'all see that text message where Rosie had sent a text message the night of the crash asking if they could buy some weed off of Dom? Did y'all peep that? And why was Rosie Rock when they looked at the crash, they had weed with them and she had a scale. The average person don't just ride around. Oh, and she had cash too. The average person don't just ride around with scales and bags of weed. Now, I had a friend once upon a time, and Tracy, don't you say nothing about Kingpin Bay. But I had a friend once. I can't even get the words out. I had a friend who used to buy, when she bought her weed, she would buy like a lot at a time. And she carried a scale because she wanted to make sure she was getting everything that she was paying for. So when she purchased her, and I'm not even being funny, y'all. I honestly don't remember the quantity, but it would be like she would buy like $150 to $200 worth at a time of weed. She would take her scale with her to make sure that she was getting what the amount she was paying for. But the average person don't just walk around with a scale in a bag and a bag of weed. But again, Dom ain't here to defend himself, so I'm not gonna. And I even wrote that in my notes. Living with boyfriend, but just graduated from high school. Now, the other thing that was in the first episode that wasn't in the documentary was a friend of Davion's first went to the prosecution because they all followed each other on the Life 360 app. Y'all know on iPhones you can give somebody a location, you can share your location, but on Androids you have that Life 360 app that a lot of people use. And what I didn't realize was how much you could see on that Life 360 app. And what they could see on that Life 360 app was you could actually see how fast the car was going. And so because Davion shared his location with his friends, they actually took that information to the police and showed that the car was going 90 miles an hour when it hit the wall. And that was the first thing that made the police kind of say, because at first, when of course, when they first were investigating it, they were investigating it as, some like, she was driving a car and two people ended up dead, but they didn't think it was intentional. They just thought it was some sort of an accident, and they were exploring, was there a medical emergency? Did the car malfunction? Something along those lines. So that was the first thing that made the police go, wait a minute, hold on. How fast are you? They were like 90 miles an hour. Wait a minute. And I'm just going to give, for those who have not already watched it, I'm just going to give y'all a trigger warning. The first few minutes of both episodes are there at the site of the crash. They blur out a lot of stuff, but there's enough that when you see the car, it's like, oh my God. And they do show that footage of the car hitting the wall. So I just want to warn y'all, if you haven't already watched it, just trigger warning, just be careful, make sure that you all right with that. Okay. Now, the other thing that was mentioned on the first documentary that was on the killer case episode that was not in the documentary was when they were in the hospital, when Mackenzie was first in the hospital and the police first went to go talk to her and her mother have like their own language that they talk to each other, which sounds like gibberish to everybody else, but they understand each other. Almost like when twins, like they say how twins know how to can talk to each other, they have their own language to talk to each other, but other people don't necessarily understand. So her and her mother, so they said that, and they actually played it where you could hear her talking, and it just sounds like gibberish. And they were able to figure out what she was saying. And what she was saying to her mother was, can I tell the police that I just had a seizure? Or, can I just tell the police I had a seizure? And her mother was kind of like, yeah, well, yeah. It was like a Pig Latin. It's not exactly Pig Latin, because Pig Latin, I understand Pig Latin. It's not Pig Latin, but it's a type. No, it wasn't regular Pig Latin. It was not regular Pig Latin. They said it wasn't, but they were able to decipher it. But no, it wasn't regular Pig Latin. But let me say this. It didn't sound like regular Pig Latin to me, but maybe it was, child. Maybe it was. But they said that the police on the show I looked at on Hulu, they said it was not Pig Latin. It was a type. It was like that though, but it was not Pig Latin. Okay, so all right, so let's get to the documentary on. So that's all my notes from the one that came on Hulu. So the parents follow her on social media. All right, I got that part. Okay, I already said that. Okay. So the night before the accident, they supposedly had gone to a graduation party. And they already knew that they were going to be spending the night at the person, I guess they were at Rosie and Bubba's house, child. And that the next day they all had plans to do some things. So they were supposed to be going home, taking a shower, getting dressed, and they were going to all hang out again. And Dominique actually was supposed to go home with Bubba. But at the last minute, he changed his mind and was like, nah, I'm going to just go back to my house. You know, Mackenzie going to take me home. I'm going to go back to my house. And I'm going to take a shower, you know, take sleep, you know, get a couple of hours sleep before we hang out. So, no, they weren't, Chuck, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. No, the boys were not wearing seatbelts, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. So, now, according to Rosie, it wasn't a party. It was just a sleepover, and they were all hanging out. And it wasn't like they had this like crazy party. It was just like a little sleepover that they were having. So, you said I still don't understand why she did it. I understand why she did it. She's crazy. But we're going to get to it. And I don't even mean crazy like to be funny. I mean, like, she got a mental issue. She's got some mental issue. So they left the house at like 5:30 in the morning. And in the video, you see she's driving regular until she makes a turn. She takes this turn, and it's like a straight road. And that is when she starts accelerating. And all you see from that point, her foot is flat on the floor. She is accelerating the entire time. There's absolutely no attempt for her to take her foot off the brake. There's no attempt for her to slow down. She doesn't attempt to do anything other than go full straight ahead. Now, to go, because I'm all over the place anyway, so let me go ahead and address what Chuck said. Neither one of the boys had seatbelts on. And based on the evidence that they were able to prove from the black box, cars have black boxes like airplanes do. Didn't know that, but they do. Based on what they were able to surmise from doing a forensic car auto thing that they did, in the seconds leading up to the crash, the car went from drive to neutral back to drive. And what we are also able to surmise is the steering wheel was swerving as if somebody was they were fighting. So what the police believe happened was that both of the boys were trying to get control of the car. Like, they saw what she was doing, and the boys were trying to get control of the car. And that's probably why neither one of them had on their seatbelt. They probably took their seatbelts off so they could maneuver. They were trying to stop her. So that's why they believe that neither one of the boys, and they said that Donovan's body was actually on top of Dominique's, because Dominique was in the driver's side and Donovan was in the back, and his body was actually sort of on top. So they believe that he was kind of like trying to, they were trying to stop her. Right, drive to neutral, right. As if they were trying to, put the car in neutral and slow her down. And that's why the car doesn't exactly go full on into the building. If you could see the car, the passenger side of the car is the side that has the most damage, which is kind of why she was able to survive. Because if you look at the driver's side of the car, you can still make out that it is a driver's side car. But on the passenger side, it's just mangled metal. I mean, it is just a mangled mess of metal, So she had like a broken leg and lacerated liver, and she had a neck brace because it was something with her one of her vertebrae, and she had a broken tibia, something in her leg. But she walked away. She went to the hospital. My only issue with this being intentional is there's a lot of risk on Mackenzie's part, or whether she intended to live. I don't think she intended to live. I really don't. Listen, I thought this before I saw the documentary, and I believe this now. I do not believe that it was her intention to live. I just don't. I think she absolutely was trying to, I believe it was almost like a murder suicide. I believe she was absolutely trying to unalive herself and him. I believe it was one of those, because, and I guess we can go ahead and get into that part now. She had on her seatbelt. According to, we saw, so was it like 2 weeks before the accident, there was another incident where Mackenzie and Dominique were in the car, and I guess they were arguing, and Dominique literally called his mother and said, I'm scared. Mackenzie is driving erratically. I need help. Call for help. And his mother sent her, I guess her boyfriend or somebody, to come and find him. Now, personally, if I was the mom, I'd have called the police. I'd have been like, my son is on this road at this place. He said his girlfriend is driving erratically. Can y'all go pull her over? Because the police officer could have gotten there faster than the boyfriend driving around talking about, where are you? Where are you? But neither here nor there. The boyfriend was driving around, and the boyfriend actually was able to get him. But allegedly, according to the boyfriend, she said, I will crash this car and kill both of us. Now, that's according to what the boyfriend said. Now, according to the parents, when they filed the appeal, they allegedly have text messages that say the opposite. The text messages are allegedly from Mackenzie to Dominique's mom, saying he keeps trying to grab the steering wheel from me. He's crazy. He's trying to make us crash. Now, here's the reality. 2 things can be true at the same time. Both of those stories could be true. Because again, if he was trying to get you to slow the fuck down and stop driving so crazy, I could see him trying to grab the steering wheel, all of the things that allegedly he did when the car actually did crash. So that, to me, those text messages don't clear your daughter. Those text messages confirm that somebody was driving crazy that night. I mean, but, now the other thing that they had, the relationship was definitely dysfunctional, because it was dysfunctional that the things that they have her saying and doing, but it's also dysfunctional that his ass kept going back. But again, these are young kids. They think they're in love and they're doing the things that they're doing. I mean, allegedly, well, I ain't gonna say allegedly, we saw the tape. Mackenzie actually Dominique, actually he started recording Mackenzie, and literally like a couple of days before the accident, he recorded her. He was inside of the house, she was outside of the house, and she was like, let me in. And he was like, I'm not letting you in. He was like, I'm getting ready to go to dinner with my grandparents. It's my grandmother's birthday or my grandfather's birthday. I'm going to pay dinner with them, and I'm not doing this with you right now. And she was like, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going to dinner tonight. If you don't open up this door, you're not going nowhere. And in that, he had all of this audio where he recorded her, and she said stuff like, if you don't let me in this house, I'm going to bust your door down. If you don't let me in this house, I'm going to key your car. If you don't let me in this house, I'm going to, and then they had text messages of her saying, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that. Now I'm going to have to, so you better be you better look behind you. You better look out. You better look for your car. You better look out for your friends. You better look out for your family. Basically, she was threatening him in text messages like, I'm going to come and get you, and I'm going to get your family, and I'm going to get your friends, and I'm going to tear your car up. So, and this was days before the accident. So I shouldn't say the accident because she was convicted, child. This was days before she killed him. Okay, because I'll have to say no accident because she was convicted. So there was video, and so the mom said, because the mom Dominique's mom testified at the trial and was like, he did these videos because he was trying to leave her, and he was trying to have evidence of what she did, how she treated him. Now allegedly he cheated on her. So she was like, I should have never took you back after you cheated on me. And he was like, you're just going to make me pay for that forever. Like, I made a mistake. You're going to make me pay for that forever. So it definitely looks like it was some dysfunction. What you confusion about, Chuck? Where'd I lose you, baby? Where'd I lose you? Tell me where I lost you. Chuck gonna let me know where I lost him. Now, back to school. Dom, where'd I lose you with Dom? I don't think, Tracy, I agree with you. I don't think there was a lot of forethought into it. I think because they said they were fine. I think they got into an argument while they were in the car. And I think she did what she always does. Because again, it doesn't sound like this is the first time that she was driving erratic. But I think that, listen, once again, this goes back to if you don't parent your children. So let's go back to the school. They said that the girl barely graduated from high school, okay? And that she had multiple disciplinary infractions on her record at school. And they started showing the girl was accused of cussing out her teachers. She was accused of bullying students. She was accused, like all it, like they just, it was like one thing after another after another. And the father said, basically, she got suspended on the last day of school one year. He said, I went to the school to pick her up and I asked her, did you do it? And she said no. And he was like, good enough for me. And I took her out of there. He was like, I know when my child is lying to me. Parents, I need all the parents to come down to the front. I need all of y'all. Seriously, all of y'all. All of y'all. Every single parent in this room, come here. Come here. You might be able to tell when your 5-year-old is lying to you. I'm here to tell you, you can't tell when your 15-year-old is lying to you. And I know just now, some of y'all in the chat said, I know when my child is lying. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I know when my child was lying. No, you don't. No, you don't. You think you know. You think you know. Well, when my daughter lies, she tilts her head to the side. Well, when my son lies, he bites his nails. Well, I know. No, you don't. And when a teacher is telling you your child cussed me out, when a teacher is telling you your child is a bully, when the school is saying we're suspending your child because of A, B, and C, y'all, everybody's not lying on your child. Let me tell y'all something else. Hey, come here. Parents, let me give y'all something else. And this is something y'all not going to want to hear. I need y'all to hear me. Y'all not going to want to hear what I'm about to say, but I'm telling you this. This is coming from love. This is coming from love. Your children are not as important to us as they are to you. And what do I mean by that? Damn, really, B, that was mean what you just said. This is what I mean by that. I don't have the energy to lie on your child like that. It's not that important to me to sit down and make up lies about your child. Now, will teachers exaggerate? Sometimes we will. Life be lifing. Sometimes a teacher will exaggerate. But to just sit down and make up a whole lie on your child, that's not. That is a 99.999% chance that don't happen. I can't speak for every single teacher in the world, and there are some horrible teachers in the world. I know that, just like there are horrible cops, lawyers, doctors, and everything else. But the reality of the situation is that 99.99999% of the time, if a teacher went through the trouble of stopping what they were doing, do you know how much shit I have to do in a day? Do you know what it takes for me to have to stop and write up a disciplinary referral on your child? Do you know what it takes for me to stop and have to go into the system and look up your phone number and or email and write that fucking email and then CC the people I need to CC and send that email? Do you understand the things that I have to do to let you know that your child cussed me out or was disrespectful or was bullying another child? Do you understand? And when there are multiple, everybody not lying on your child, because your child is not as important to us as they are to you, which means that we would have to actually sit down and conspire to come up with a bunch of stories to lie on you or your child. Now, again, I'm not going to say that there aren't some bad teachers, because listen, they're bad everybody in the world, but multiple, no, everybody not lying on your child. Everybody ain't lying to your child. With the exception of the poor autistic boy that they were lying on, whose behavior changed in the motherhood camera. Yeah, and again, listen, now when students, I ain't talking about that. I ain't talking about that. And I'm okay with trusting but verifying. I'm not saying that as a parent, you should come up to the school and just be ready to just wail on your child. I'm just saying, don't sit here and tell me that you came up to the school, you asked your child, did you do it? They said no, and you were like, that's good enough for me. The fuck? And I'm sitting here, they showed multiple infractions. So we ain't talking about one incident and it was done. But see, that's what happens when y'all are too busy being your children's friend instead of your child's fucking parent. Y'all have time to be friends with your kids when they're adults. I told y'all this a million times. Me and my mother were not friends when I was growing up. Absolutely not. She was my mother, and the lines were very clear. Now that I'm an adult, that's one of my best friends. Call my mama all the time. When something good happened to me, she the first person I want to tell. When something bad happened to me, she the first person I need to tell. But when I was growing up, absolutely not. And did I lie to my mama? All the fucking time. I was a kid. Of course I lied. The fuck? Here go my cousin. Talking about some absolutely. Right. I mean, it just is what it is. But when you are too busy trying to be your child's friend, that's not why you're here. You're not here to be their friend. And I hate when I hear people saying that, well, me and my kids are best friends. Then that means you're not being their parent. Because if you're being their parent, you ain't going to always be their friend, because you're not going to always be their favorite person. Because you're going to have to tell them no. You're going to have to discipline them. The fact that this 17-year-old girl was allowed to move in with her boyfriend whenever that happened, whether it was right the day she graduated, because here's the reality. She didn't go from 0 to 100. If y'all allowed her to move in with that boy the day she graduated from high school, she didn't go from 0 to 100. She was already at that boy house. She was already spending the night at that boy house. That didn't just happen overnight. I'm sorry. I don't believe that. And now you just hugging on your child from a jail cell. Now here you are spending up your life savings, paying for lawyers, trying to get your child out of jail. Still defending her. Child, let me get back to these notes, honey. I'm sorry. Okay. I wrote that in here where the parents don't care about the drugs, where the daddy said he didn't care. Now, I thought it was interesting that and Davion was actually colored. And when I say, the reason why I say colored, because I don't know if he was mixed, I don't know if he was black, I don't know if he was Latino, I don't know what he was, but he was colored. And him and his siblings have been adopted by this white family. So Donovan actually played he was a starting running back on the football team, but he hurt his leg. He tore like his ACL, MCL, LLC. He tore his leg up, and he was basically told that he probably would not make it to go to college, play college, and certainly not the NFL. And so that's when he sort of pivoted and decided he wanted to go to barber school. He wanted to become a barber. But his parents said that's also when he started hanging out with Mackenzie, Rosie, Bubba, and Dominique. Now, he probably knew them, but the parents said that's when he started hanging out with them a lot more. And I feel like that was his father's like nice way of saying, before, when he was an athlete and when he thought he was going to college to play football, he ain't really fooled with them like that. But once that dream sort of died, then he started, smoking weed and hanging out with them. And Rosie even said, well, we were the stoners. We were the stoners in school. So it sounded like the dad kind of knew that they weren't a good influence, but he didn't want to come right out and just say. But it kind of sounded like the father kind of knew that. Right, Donovan, his sister, and it was three of them. All three of them were adopted. We thank you, TAC. We got that, boo. Somebody already told us that, but thank you. And so it sounded like that's what the dad was kind of insinuating without coming right out and saying, hey, they started smoking weed and when he started hanging with them. But that's what it sounded like, that when he was an athlete, he kind of had a different group of friends. And he said his father even told him, your friends are a reflection of who you are. And he kind of had it sounded like he kind of had an issue with this crew. But he didn't come right out and like dog them out or nothing like that. But he definitely, yeah, Donovan got caught up with the wrong kid. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. No, you cool. I told y'all, drop it in the chat. Anything I missed or y'all know, add it to the chat. Because, y'all, I'm watching this. I might not pick up everything. Everything might not be in my notes. Okay. So, all right, I already told y'all about that. Okay, we kind of already talked about this too, but the black box gave them the 5 seconds right before the crash, and her foot, I did tell y'all that they said that her foot was on the accelerator the whole time and going 100 miles an hour. Okay, we already talked about that. So, okay, so I'm kind of at the end of my notes. So, at the trial, they tried to act like the mom and them were trying to say that she has this medical condition where her blood pressure would drop rapidly, because according to Mackenzie said she has no recollection of anything. She said the last thing she remembered is turning that corner. Now, what's interesting is that when she turned that corner, she was driving 25 miles an hour. She put on her turn signal. Everything looked normal. So that's the last thing she remembered. But once she turned that corner, boom, that's when she started accelerating, and it was a straightaway. Now, something that was not said in the documentary that I read in an article online said that something they did not mention in the documentary is that they have footage of Mackenzie actually doing a test run on that street a couple of days before the crash. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't know if it's necessarily a test run, or if that is the way, Rosie said they were together every day. If that's the way that she got to Dominique's house from Rosie's house, I could see where she hit that corner. And because it is a straightaway, I could see where she might speed down that straightaway. A lot of people do that. They see it's a straightaway and they might accelerate their speed. I don't know if it was necessarily a test run, because again, I don't think this was necessarily premeditated. I think they were arguing. And I think that she went to wherever it is that she goes to when she's in that space. But I could be wrong because I wasn't in the car. That's just my opinion. Now, at the trial, they tried to say she had POTS syndrome. Y'all keep putting it in the chat. Thank you. Where her blood pressure will automatically just drop and she gets lightheaded and that kind of thing. But somebody in the documentary brought up a good point. Number one, her attorney never presented any evidence from a doctor to say that this potentially could be what had happened. The other thing, and Dominique's sister brought this point up. Dominique's sister said, but if you lost consciousness, wouldn't your foot have come off the brake? Your foot wouldn't still be pressed down to the floor. You wouldn't still be accelerating at full speed if you were losing consciousness, or if you zoned out, or if you were getting lightheaded. Like, you wouldn't be, your foot wouldn't be pedal to the metal if you're getting lightheaded and you losing consciousness. So as soon as the sister said that, I said, you know what? That is a valid point. That is a very valid point. No, she never went that way before. Okay, so that's what they were saying. Okay. Well, if she never went that way before, maybe it was a test run then, child. Well, that came up at trial. Why was she allowed to drive with that condition? That came up at trial. SCK said dead weight. But with dead weight, your foot might still be on the accelerator, but it's not pressed to the ground. That's like, have you, y'all ain't got to tell me in the chat because I don't want nobody to get scared. How many people, just answer to yourself, you ain't got to put it in the chat. How many people have found themselves falling asleep at the wheel? You know, you be like, oh shoot, you catch yourself. Your foot is not pedal to the metal. You start, you know, your foot might still be on the accelerator, but it ain't pedal to the metal. It ain't going 100 miles an hour. You have to put force on that. Your foot could still be on the accelerator, but not that type of weight. You got to be pressing down. And if you're getting lightheaded or you're falling asleep or you're going into some sort of medical, you ain't 100 miles an hour. I'm sorry. I can't. 100 miles an hour. If folks seize up, they can accelerate. Pedal to the metal, accelerate, or just put your foot on the brake. Okay, I don't think so, but I hear you. I hear you, Chan. I don't think so, but I hear you, Chan. You know. Well, maybe that's why she was gonna say that they had a seizure, honey. Maybe that's what you're trying to say. Years ago, I nodded off at a stop sign and my foot lifted off the brake. I rear-ended the car in front of me. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Your foot lifted up, not pressed down. No, the comedian Leslie, he had a heart attack while he was driving, and he swerved and he hit the wall. He didn't die from the car accident. He died from the heart attack. He did hit a wall though, where he was driving and he swerved when he had the heart attack, and he was probably trying to pull over, something like that. He didn't hit, the wall isn't what killed him. The heart attack is what killed him. You wouldn't continue to go straight. You would swerve. Yeah, I just don't, to me, that was just too perfect, y'all. I hear what y'all are saying, that you could seize up and you could accelerate, but I don't know. You know, but either way, she didn't seize up. There was no evidence of her having any sort of a medical emergency, so we can eliminate that. So at the trial, she opted for a bench trial instead of a jury trial. You know, you can have a bench trial where it's just the judge is gonna make a decision. Not the pot storyline sound of Real Days of Our Lives. Right. That's why her attorneys didn't have a medical expert, because they would have had to. There was no medical evidence to support that that's what happened to that child. And that's why because trust and believe, if they could have found a doctor to say, well, that's what happened, they would have. We see it happen all the time. There are medical experts that'll say, you know, unfortunately there's some, for the right price, will say whatever you want them to say. And that's the other thing. The road was curvy. Thank you, R&D Diva. That's the other thing. The road was not a straight line. There were curves. Even though they were subtle curves, there were curves. So again, straight ahead, she still had control of the car to make those curves. Thank you. Thank you. See, that's why I like the chat, because y'all be reminding me of stuff I forgot. Danny said I have POTS and I call BS. Well, there you go. She didn't have a seizure though. Isn't there test to prove a seizure? I guess. I'm assuming. I'm not being funny. I don't know. I'm assuming. But when she went to the hospital, I guess whatever medical workup they didn't find it. Because again, if there was evidence that she had a seizure, I'm sure her attorney would have presented that. You know. So when she first was in the hospital, her parents would not let her talk to the police, which I think was smart. You know, she got an attorney. And then the police came and arrested her. Now, in the interim between the accident, again, not the accident, the unaliving, and her getting arrested, she was back on social media, living her best life, doing her TikTok videos, dancing, and all of the things. Baby, why was there this video clip? And I'm not making fun of anybody who believes in these things, but a EEG, okay, thank you. EEG can diagnose can brain activity. Thank you, baby. When she got out the hospital, her mother was like, she either went to the memorial at the crash site or to Dominic's grave every day. So y'all were taking her in a wheelchair to the grave site every day? Is that even healthy? So there was a footage of her sitting at the gravesite and her father, and they had like this pendulum thing. I've seen it before where they ask the question and the pendulum swings, and she was like, Dominic, I love you. Dominic, I miss you so much. And the father was swinging the pendulum and was like, he's saying something. LOVE. He's saying love. I said, what is wrong with? And she had posted all this stuff on her social media. Then, so the accident was on July the 31st. On October, on Halloween, she went to a Halloween party dressed up as a zombie. Tone deaf much? Listen, you could be 5,000 things for Halloween, but probably being a zombie, you and your friends dressing up as zombies 3 months after you unalived your boyfriend and another friend, and even if it was an accident, even if it was 120% an accident, that's probably not the best decision you ever made. Right. They had Dom daddy sat with the parents in court. They thought it was just an accident. Because Dom's parents are divorced. So he was like, well, the mom was getting information that I wasn't getting. So I'm listening to what her parents are saying. And we're really, truly believing that it was just an accident. So yeah, they sat with the family the day of the accident. I mean, the first day of court, they sitting with the mom until they saw the video footage. That was the first time everybody had seen the footage of the accident. So he was like, once he saw the footage of the accident and he heard the testimony about the car and the acceleration, and he was like, I'm sitting there feeling stupid as hell because I'm sitting here with you, believing what y'all telling me, only to realize that it was some bull hockey, like it was full of ish, you know. Well, Yvette, we talked about that. The belief is that the boys weren't wearing a seatbelt because they were trying to stop her. The belief is that they undid the seatbelts because there's evidence that the steering wheel was jerking to imply that somebody was pulling on the steering wheel, and that the car went from drive to neutral to drive to neutral. So to imply that, to give the impression that they were fighting over the steering wheel and fighting to get the car in neutral or in park. They were probably trying to get the thing in park, much less neutral. But yeah, no, you fine, Yvette, you fine, baby, you fine. So that's what the belief is, that they undid their seatbelts to try and stop her. That's the belief of the detectives. So the other thing, so Mackenzie did not testify because, of course, according to her, she said she don't remember nothing. Yeah, Dom's mama knew. That's why Dom's mama didn't talk to her ass. Dom's sister said she tried to reach out to her. She was like, why would I talk to the person who killed my brother? I ain't got nothing to say to you. I said, I know that's right. You better let it be known. I found it interesting, too, that Donovan's mom did not participate in this documentary. The dad did. But on the show I watched on Hulu, the mom did participate. So she probably is like, I can't keep talking about this. Like I said, I done gave y'all my interview. I done participated in one of the documentaries, and maybe she participated in others. But I did notice that the mother did not. Donovan's mother did not, but the sister and the father did. But the mother did not participate in this. Oh, a car in motion won't shift in the park. Well, that's why. Okay, well, that's why then. I never tried to shift the car. I never tried to do that. See, I did not know. Yeah, they tried to say because they were dressed up as Playboy Cardi. No, y'all were zombies. Y'all were zombies. All of y'all. And it was like 5 of them. And they even did TikToks and shit. So what I found to be interesting, though, was in that video from Halloween, you didn't have no cast on. You didn't have nothing on your leg. Like in 3 months, you went from a broken tibia, fibia, LLC, whatever, and you didn't even have a cast on 3 months later. I found that to be interesting, but okay. I'm not saying the girl wasn't hurt because they had to get the jaws of life to get her out that car. I just thought it was interesting that your vanity, you did by Halloween, you got about that cast and you was doing whole dance routines. Okay. Yeah, all of them were zombies. But when it was time for your trial, miraculously, you needed a cast for your arm. And they were like, then mind you, the trial was a year later. Girl, what you need a cast for? What's going on with your arm? What you need a cast for? Okay. So I'm gonna tell you the thing that threw me all the way off was when they were doing the impact, the victim impact. So she was convicted. The judge was like, listen, girl, you did it. You did that. It was intentional. You meant to do what you did, and it was what it was. But what I found to be interesting, okay, well, you know what? I forgot about that, Tracy. Yes, a modeling agency reached out to her while she was in the hospital, and the mama was on her social media responding like, oh my gosh, yes, we've been wanting to talk. We've been wanting to hear from you. She would love for you to, yes, you can use these pictures, and yes, we would love to do work with you. Girl, you are laying in the hospital. You literally just unalive 2 people, whether it was on accident or not. You literally, let me tell you something. I was in a car accident in high school. 2 of my friends were in the car. Thank God nobody died, clearly. But one of my friends got hurt really, really bad. The accident was my fault. And one of my friends, I mean, she had to be airlifted to the hospital. She had a situation with her neck. I don't remember the exact details at this point, but I know she was in the hospital and she ended up having to have a surgery. Do y'all understand how guilty I felt about that? For a very long time. I'm like, it was like a week before homecoming. This was my senior year. I missed my senior year homecoming because I was like, I'm not going to homecoming. Like one of my best friends, like one of my high school really good friends is literally at home right now. I mean, she was out of the hospital by then, but I was like, I'm not going to homecoming. My mama car is total. I mean, it ended up not being total, but I thought it was. My mama car is tow up. My friend is in the hospital. I'm not going to homecoming. So I did not even go to my senior year homecoming anything. I had just taken the SAT. Matter of fact, it was the weekend that Saturday I took the SAT. That night, no, that's a lie. I took the SAT that Saturday. I think it was that next, because it was during the weeknight. We were on our way we had just filmed Teen Summit. Y'all remember Teen Summit? And for my DC people, y'all remember Teen Summit. It used to come on BET. They filmed it here in DC. We had gone to Teen Summit. We had filmed Teen Summit. And I was on my way home I was taking them home and I was on my way home. And, anyway. So the fact that you're literally sitting in the hospital excited about modeling agencies reaching out to you. Like, what the hell? Yeah, we had just filmed Teen Summit. Yep. So, and it's funny because I never watched that episode because it was the night of the accident. So when the episode came on TV, I never watched it. So I still don't know. I never watched the episode because I was like, it reminded me of the accident. You know what I mean? So anyway, the other thing I found to be so disrespectful, and I probably would have jumped across the counter and they would have had to probably arrest me. When her mother, Mackenzie's mom, was doing her victim impact statement, and she was talking about my daughter, it was an accident. She doesn't remember anything from the accident. And the judge was like, it sounds like you're doing a lot of talking about your daughter and you're not talking about the victims. Well, Donovan, he was a new friend. The judge was like, what's that supposed to mean? His life was less important? The way I probably would have jumped across that counter the minute she said, well, Donovan was a new friend, as if to say, baby, and the mother was like, no, like, and then it realized she realized how bad it sounded, and then she was like, no, to say he was what the fuck was that supposed to mean? He's a new friend. Is he less of a victim because you didn't know him that well? Oh no, she absolutely meant what she said. Oh no, she meant exactly what she said. She meant that thing. Like, so Mackenzie now I didn't agree with the sentence. I understood why the parents were upset with the sentence, because on the Hulu documentary, the mother, she says, Donovan's mother, I told you she didn't participate in the Netflix one, but on the Hulu one, Donovan's mother said she got 15 years, but the 15 years are going to run together. And so she said, basically she was only convicted for killing one person. Like, she got the same sentence as if she would have just killed one person instead of two. So yes, she was convicted, and yes, she's going to be in jail, but they felt like the sentences should have run congruently and not together, one after the other. Now, this is what I'm going to say. But for those of you who watched it, though, did y'all hear what the judge said? Concurrent, thank you. Did y'all hear what the judge said? The judge said, I'm going to cut through the bullshit of what the judge said. What the judge said was, I don't really need to sentence her to all this time. Here she go. The judge said, because I truly don't think you're going to be out in 15 years. I said, damn. So basically what the judge said is that you're going to get in jail and you're going to show your ass. The judge said, I don't feel the need to give you the maximum because I truly don't feel like you're going to be out in 15 years. The judge said, I believe that you are going to spend the majority of your life in jail. I said, damn. So basically the judge said, I'm not even going to waste my time giving you all these years because you ain't getting out of jail. You're going to get in that jail. You're going to act a fool. Now, I didn't necessarily agree with that thought process because my thing is, if you have the power to make sure she don't get out of jail, Why are you playing that game? Why are we rolling the dice? I didn't necessarily agree with that, but I just thought the shit was funny that the judge was like, "Ain't no need me giving you more than 15 years because you're going to be there longer than that." I said, damn. I said, well, damn. Tracy, I'm going to drop the link for you to come up here because you said you'd have listened to the tapes and everything else. I want to hear some of what you got to say. Can you come up? Now, I'm going to let y'all look at this TikTok of the father acting a damn fool.
You guys aren't allowed to speak to her at all. That's from the lawyer. He does not want you guys speaking to her. And I can get him on the phone. He can tell you that over the phone if that works, or I can go in and tell her not to open her mouth. How are you guys doing this on the weekends? Just look, you like this? Go, hey, there's a warrant for her. We would have brought her right down there. It's just unbelievable. I mean, the 18 warrant was issued today, so we executed it today. The warrant wasn't issued earlier. We made a phone call. I just keep a creeper out in front of the yard watching. So, she can't take any. She's an adult. She can't take any phone calls right now. She'll be transferred downtown. Okay, I don't know when. She'll be transferred downtown. Okay, well, I still need to speak to my daughter, so she understands what her, not say anything to you guys. Okay, and I don't know about the phone. I would have to ask about that.
Can you go find it's mine? It's not hers. I do need it. I have other children.
That's how we communicate.
Yeah, and that's how we communicate.
Okay, so
I do need my phone.
we need to ask to pick up an 18-year-old girl who can hardly walk out of a hospital visit.
Yeah.
It's just beyond. So we follow the law. That's what we're doing today. So her, the phone that was in her hand.
Now, mind you, the daddy said you pick up a 18-year-old child. So first of all, she's over 18, so she's not a juvenile that can barely walk. But she was just doing TikToks. She was just dancing in her zombie outfit. Y'all didn't have no issue with that.
The one that we told, but I have to check with the detective to find out what's going on with that. I don't know the answer to that.
Can we find it? I do need it like right now.
Okay, let me.
I have another child.
No, I get it. So we can look.
Yeah. Thank you.
Am I going to have a 2-minute conversation with her? You cannot talk to her while we should have. Why doesn't she get a phone call? Why don't she get a phone call?
She was just brought in. They're going to process her as soon as they get the time for her to make a phone call. She will be able to make a phone call.
You just need to invite her. She has a lawyer.
She's a lawyer. She doesn't.
She is 18 years old and she could speak that.
Yeah, but she's a dumb 18-year-old that just turned 18.
Well,
and you guys are she's dumb. All the kids nowadays are dumb. And this guy's going to take advantage of it. She's not allowed to speak to you guys. I'm telling you that.
Her attorney can call us.
I just
Don't ask her any questions. She's not allowed to speak. So if you dial the number, bring us with you. No, not give her that.
Not he eating the Doritos though.
But I need to speak to my daughter because.
So first of all, your daughter's 18. Talking about something. So can I have a 2-minute conversation? No, you don't. No, you can't. You cannot have a 2-minute conversation with your child. She's 18. She's an adult. And what I find interesting was y'all thought that she was grown enough to live with her boyfriend at 17, but now she's not grown enough to know not to talk to the police when she gets arrested. And then he talked about some, y'all could have called us. We'd have brought her down here. Y'all didn't have to do that because the father in the documentary, the father was like, I mean, they had 10 squad cars to pull her over. They didn't have to do that. They were just trying to make a scene. The prosecutor was just trying to make a scene. And then the mother told my son, that's my phone. That's my phone. That's probably not her phone. That's Mackenzie's damn phone. I'm talking about that's my phone. You know that ain't your phone. You're just trying to get that phone away from them. Tracy, did you say, because I want to hear what you said you listened to the phone calls. What was it on phone calls from prison? Where'd you hear the phone calls from? Oh, yeah. Here go the phone calls right here. Hold on, let's listen to this one. I don't need to be rehabilitated. Hold on, let me see. Phone calls from prison, Mackenzie. Sure, not I'm the prettiest person in jail.
Yeah, but why is it making like what's so like I don't even know. Oh no, that's what I mean. I mean, there's the world that bored. There's nothing like important going on, like hunger or something like that. Like, exactly.
In this jail call clip you're about to hear, Mackenzie and her mom aren't happy with the media attention her case is getting. Mackenzie's worried about the death penalty and claims she didn't crash on purpose. Take a listen.
Oh no, I'm nervous. Well, don't be nervous. I just want you to be safe. It was the same thing last time. It was all over the place last time too. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. Because remember, who called Daddy? When this whole thing started, somebody called and they saw it in Chicago or something. I just want you to be safe. That's my job. Well, maybe the people will check. No. Yeah, right. So it's just, this is just crazy. So I just want Monday to come and I want Monday to go so that we can move on. I heard you talked to Faith. Yeah. Yeah? It was good. And what'd she say about Rosie? She said all good? Cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, but I don't know why it's making national news. What if people try to hurt you guys and stuff? They won't do that, baby. How do you know? Because they're wrong. I'm scared.
Y'all can go to phone calls from prison. I'm not gonna play too much of their content, even though they're pretty cool about it. But I usually reach out to people before I play a lot of their content, so I don't want to play too much of it. But y'all can reach out to phone calls from prison. I mean the YouTube channel phone calls from prison. I'm gonna listen to some of these because I actually hadn't listened to them, to be honest. But I'm gonna listen to some of these. This one says, I'm the prettiest person in jail. But this one's a 30-minute call. I'm not going to play no 30-minute call. But she says she the prettiest person in jail. I'm going to listen to some of these tonight. And if I find some real interesting ones, I can get the timestamp and just play it for y'all. Somebody said she got a lot of girlfriends in jail. I'm not surprised. Somebody said she got a black scent. She might have a black scent. She got to do what she got to do to survive. I will survive. Hey. Oh, here's one right here. It's called That Bitch. What'd she say? I'm going to have to listen to some of these. Yeah, I'm going to listen to some of these. Hold on. What's this one? Here go another one. I'm trying to find one that's not too long that maybe I could play a little bit of it. But these are long. Mackenzie complains about court. Mackenzie. I'm going to listen to some of these. Oh, the daddy breaks his silence in a jail call. Oh, the mom and the dad. She said they're making me look like a monster. Oh, here's one where her mother tells her she's being framed. Here's one where she said, I'm going to be old as fuck when I get out of jail. Well, maybe. Her first parole hearing is in 2037. Oh, she definitely. Oh, I know she blames the attorneys. She blames the crash on her murder victim. Wait a minute, we might need to listen to this one. Hold on, let me listen to this one.
In this jail call, Mackenzie and her mother talk about Dom and the morning of the car crash. Mackenzie says she thinks she knows what happened. Mackenzie says that she thinks Dom might have caused the crash. After you hear the call, please let me know what you think in the comments. Take a listen.
Hello? Hey. I dialed my information fast as fuck this time. What? I dialed my information really fast. Then I set up a card so I can bypass that whole thing now. Really? Yep. Ooh, that's good.
It's not letting me drop the link.
I memorized my number by heart. There you go. Good for you. I mean, it wasn't so much of a pain in the butt, but I still did it anyway. Did you look up on the county website if you like the county inmates? No.
It's not letting me share the link.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just like I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
Hold on.
I want to tell you something really bad, but I can't tell you on the phone. I don't know.
You see the link? Oh, okay.
Oh my god, she keeps peeping. Like, I see you, room 10, like, for real. Alright, I'm not gonna say, no, I'm not gonna even say that. Oh, no, I don't. I don't know how we're ever gonna do it. Is Jim gonna come see me before, Probably not, but maybe you can tell him. I know you can tell me on Monday. Yeah. Okay. What else has been going on online? Okay, so did you tell my friend you changed my Instagram name? No, but I'm sure they would. No. Well, I don't think anyone really knows that that's what, like, that's me. I don't know. Yeah, you should just make a group chat for, like, 10Z announcements. I did. Oh, really? Yeah, that's how I sent the app for the video fire. Who's all in it? Your writer guys. I'm trying to get Paul's number. It's on Instagram. From my account? No, I just found him. I feel so bad for him. Yeah, when he said about he was like, I wanted it to be at my house for once because I never do anything at my house. And then I didn't I was in a bad mood, and then they convinced me to like come do it at my house anyways.
Okay, Tracy. Now you've been listening. You just give us the cliff notes on these jail calls because you said you've been listening to them. I'm gonna listen to some of them tonight. But what's going on with these jail calls,
girl? I agree that there's probably a slim chance in hell of she getting out of jail. But a couple things. One, her attorney missed her appeal date by 1 day. So
that's why her appeal was denied.
So now they're sending it over to try and get it like redone, saying that like her appeals attorney misdid her thing to see if they can get hers real done. I was like, oh, I'm so sad. Oh, tear. I'm so sad. When I tell you zero remorse, zero. And I understand her mother on almost every call says, we can't talk about that. Don't talk about this. I'll hang up on you if you talk about this. Don't say this. But
yeah, because she know them calls are being recorded.
When she blames, she was like, maybe I had a seizure and passed out and, they grabbed the wheel. And the mother was like, I'm going to hang up on you. I was like, oh, okay. This is where we're going with this. The dad was like, oh, no, don't worry. We're going to make sure we, if we need to move to be next to you so that, we can be really close to the jail. So don't worry about it. It's okay, Pumpkin. We're going to make sure that we, get everything that you need. And don't worry, your commissary every week is stacked. Don't worry. We believe in you. Every time. When I tell you they have calls, and when I tell you she calls them maybe 8 to 10 times a day, all day, every day. Mom's at work. She was like, oh no, I don't have. She was like, no, I'll stop working so I can talk to you. I was like, is your job gonna hear this? Because if you at work And instead of
Crazy.
you saying, I'm not going to work so I can go ahead and talk to you, girl, I'm telling you right now, if I was her job, I would be firing her. Like,
Well, it sounds like the
absolutely.
daddy about to be
Come on now.
fired, child.
Oh, listen, the Catholic, listen, Netflix came out, let's say on a Sunday. By that Tuesday, the Catholic diocese was like, yeah, we're going to put you on administrative leave because we can't do this. Which I understand because how are you a teacher talking about at a Catholic school? Talking about, yeah, smoking weed and my daughter smokes weed and it's okay. And, of all the drugs, I'm like, do you hear yourself? And then the father was like, they did this, they twisted what I said because we were talking for hours and they just decided to use that little clip. And I don't know why. I know why.
I'm
Because
about
do
to
you
say,
hear yourself?
you don't know why?
But your girl has been in jail doing the absolute most.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me about that because you said that she's got a lot of referrals or something. What's she
Ooh,
been doing in jail doing, girl? Tell me that.
well, let's see, contraband, um,
I'm not
editing,
surprised.
editing her jail attire to make it tighter. So she need to customize that. But she got her a sugar daddy in jail because she on the same website that Gypsy Rose was on to find her a sugar daddy. So she got her a sugar daddy. So she got to be looking cute for him. Got to make sure she look right. But she has like 4 or 5 different SA complaints. From her and her girlfriends. Because it's illegal. You can't do that. So
Yeah.
when you doing that, you get caught. They go ahead and write you up. Infractions for basically she takes baby oil and just goes out and tans and has a good time, and they was like, yeah, no, you can't do that, like that's not a thing. Basically just and because they said like she doesn't have a release date and her case is so popular that everybody in the jail is kind of like not bowing down to her but just trying to see what she's going to do. So the inmates are allowing her to get away with a lot more, which then means that, she now got the real big head in jail. I mean, even bigger than the head that she had in jail. So she feels like, her hickeys aren't a problem. She's cursing out the guards. I don't
But she was
understand
cussing
what
out her
you're
teachers,
doing.
so
What
I'm
do
not
you
surprised.
mean? Listen, when I tell you doing the absolute most. So when the judge said, "Yeah, you're probably not gonna get bail," probably not. I agree.
Maybe that
I
judge
agree.
cracked me up. That judge said, I'm gonna just going to give you 15 years because you ain't gonna get out. I said,
Oh,
damn.
oh yeah, I agree. Because when you're looking at the thing and it's like, oh, okay. Um, no, she's in their prison.
No,
She's
she's
in
in
their
prison.
thing. She's in their prison, but their prison is like more like a camp, like a dormitory style, like college style. So they have, like the rooms in the middle where they can come out and do things and stuff like that. So it's, just a different type of little setup. But nope, they said that her parents sends her packages every week, all the commissary, all the food, makeup, that she can get eye patches. They do skincare, anything on anything on the
Crazy.
list, she gets it. So, I mean, at this point, I don't think that she's. Oh well, she was very upset when she realized that Kim K, because Kim K, her exact words was, Kim K gonna pass the baby bar so she can be my attorney so she can get me out because I look so good and I look too good to be in jail. I was like, oh, okay. So it's just a repetitive cycle of her parents are bat crazy, feeding into her delusions, um, that she basically can still do whatever she wants, say whatever she wants. Like there's no consequences or anything. She does all of this and they stock up her commissary. I feel bad for her sister because I'm like, how do you, you know, like, how are you going to be normal when these are your parents and this is your sister? Like, what's going on with, like, I feel bad for the sister because how are you even giving your other daughter any sort of attention? Because with this dynamic that you're currently dealing with. So yeah,
Yeah.
when I say it is absolutely positively not looking good for Mackenzie, but yeah, so she missed her thing. So of course they missed it by a day. So denied, but they're filing a thing saying ineffective assistance of counsel to try and do that. She said she's been writing Kim K for Kim K to represent her because she's
Girl.
too pretty. No, you don't think Kim K's gonna come
Girl.
come down? She told her mom, tell Kim K all we wear is Skims.
Girl.
I was like, in jail? I was like, that's all you wear is. Oh, okay.
Girl. But yeah, for those
Delusional.
who don't know, she did actually interview for the documentary in full makeup. I mean, she had a full face of makeup, honey. And she did do an interview, and I thought it was real funny how when she leaned over to her attorney and was like, "Was that good? Was that good? Anything else I need to say?" Well, I just want to let you guys know that I'm really, I really am sorry, and I just didn't. It wasn't on purpose. Like I didn't do it. No, actually, I don't know if she said she was sorry, but she said I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't. There was no intent. I was like, yeah, your attorney told you to make sure you say that.
hmm and the thing about the text messages with Dom's mom about the him pulling on the car on the steering wheel while they were driving and those text messages. So they were looking at the timestamp because I watched Nate Eaton did an interview with one of the appeals attorneys, and he was like, if you look at the timestamps of when she started texting the mom that he was pulling on the steering wheel and he was doing this and he was trying to hurt her and he was doing this to her, it was when the boyfriend had already made it to where they were to
I
get
figured it was
him
something
out.
like that.
So it was like, yeah, I mean, he was still there, but it was like he's clearly trying to get out of the car to do the thing. And so the timestamps and then mom basically went off on her and was like, I need you to stop lying. Like you two are toxic together. Like he doesn't need to put his hands on you. You don't need to put your hands on him. Y'all just need to leave each other alone. You know what I
And
mean?
the
And she was
other
like,
thing is, even when they were reading those messages, I was like, if it was a smoking gun, your attorney had access to those same text messages, like they were on Mackenzie's phone. So if your attorney felt like it cleared something up or it cleared Mackenzie, why didn't your attorney present that in the trial? Like you're saying as an appeal, like this is the smoking gun. Clearly, your attorney didn't feel like it was.
yeah, but you can't say anything to delusional people because
Baby,
again,
they beyond delusional.
it's the family of deplorables. The entire family is delusional because I was like, the dad just pacifies her in a way that is unhealthy, and the mom, she was like, I'm going to be a cool mom. That's what she gives me. You know how Mean Girls, it was the mom who was like, I'm going to be a cool mom. That's her. Like
Well,
that's
that's
this
what
mom
somebody
right here.
said that in jail she told somebody she wanted to be Regina George.
Mhm. No, she didn't say she wanted to be. She said, I am the Regina George.
Oh, okay, I
So
am the Regina George.
yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, she is definitely very much so um full-fledged leaning right into it. When I say it, I don't see what the friends seen when the friends are like, oh no, she wouldn't have done that. She isn't like this. She isn't that. I don't see how the friends are still locked into her delusion. Like, I don't see how the friends are still there. But I understand the parents because that's your child. But when I tell you, if you listen to some of them calls, I mean, just like you'll sit there and be like, the mom is really encouraging her. just really just playing right into it. Just like, okay, okay, all right. But yeah, they said they're willing to sell their house to move closer to her. So, I was like, I don't see how this is ever going to get any better. But I agree with like Davion's family, who, because his sister has a YouTube channel, and she does podcasts and she talks about it, and she does things to keep her brother's name and memory alive. And was like, if she ever gets to go before the parole board, she was like, I'm going to bring all of this with me to the parole board. Where's the remorse? Where is the thing? If you're saying that you passed out and y'all could have possibly been doing the thing, she was like, I'm saving all of them and bringing them with me and saying, where is it? I was like, well, I mean, I'm not mad at the sister. I agree. I agree. So
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go listen to some of those jail calls. If I find some timestamps, I'll play some for y'all, but I have to listen. I don't want to just play because some of the calls are like, 20, 30 minutes long. So I want to like listen to them and find some timestamps for y'all.
Oh yeah, because she has some doozies. I'm gonna go back in my little history thing and see if I can find a couple for you. Because when I tell you she has some doozies, she has some doozies. But I agree. The mother is still says she's still so far her like she's still grieving. So I agree with you. That's probably why she only did one of the documentary, only did one of the things, because she says she couldn't. But I'm with the dad. Like, how did you have me sitting next to you like it was an accident and this is what we hear? Like, I would feel horrible. Um, yeah. So, but that's what I had. She, just a nice little smorgasbord of her getting a bunch of infractions. The mama and the daddy is still super delusional, and I feel sorry for the sister that still lives in that house.
Mm-hmm.
And Kim K is gonna represent her
Girl, bye.
because she's too pretty to be in jail
Yeah, she too pretty to be in jail, child.
with her hickeys from her girlfriends and her sugar baby website, the jailhouse one that Gypsy Rose was on. Because that's also what she asked. She was like, what was the site that Gypsy Rose was on? Yeah, that level of delusion. So, yep, fun times. See, when I suggested it, did you think that this is what you were going to get out of the crash?
If I had known what the story was, because I followed it. I mean, I didn't follow it from the very beginning, but I remember the case. I just didn't know when you said the crash. I was like, "What you talking about?" So once I saw what it was, I was like, "Oh, okay." So a lot of this information wasn't new for me. Some of the intricacies were, but the big overall story, I knew the story about her. I knew that basically she was a liar and that the parents were enablers, and that this was the boyfriend, and that I knew a lot of that, but I didn't know a lot of the little intricacies, and even some of the stuff from jail. Like, as you're talking, I remember, I guess I probably saw some TikToks or something about it, because some of this stuff, it sounded familiar that she said. The Kim K stuff, not so much, but I have heard some of the phone calls with her mother, because I've heard her mother saying, "Don't say that. I'm gonna hang up if you say that." Like, I have heard some of the calls. So now I just got to go back and listen, But the "I'm too cute to be in jail," I ain't heard that one.
Girl, she's an interesting character. Like, I was like, oh, you know what? She gonna give. If she wrote letters like Sarah Boone, she would give Sarah Boone a run for her money in the level of delusional people in jail. But she don't write letters. She just stay on the phone all day and all night with her mom. So yeah, so thank you so much for hitting up my little suggestion. I appreciate you, because I needed somebody to talk about this with, because I was like, if she was black, she'd have been doing life. But hey, what do I know?
I agree. The people in the chat say she looked like she's got an eating disorder. They said that she didn't eat any processed food, that she only ate healthy foods. So I don't know if she had an eating disorder, but she definitely was very conscious about her food. One of her
But
friends, remember one of her friends in the documentary said she wouldn't even eat McDonald's.
But that's why I didn't understand. You wouldn't eat McDonald's, but you smoke weed, do shrooms, and do acid. Like how did
A lot of people don't make that connection, child. They be like, weed is from the earth.
how is that a thing? I was like,
listen, people. I've heard people do it, child.
Listen, all I know is I just don't understand how she getting money from her parents and is getting a grip from these men sending her money in jail. Like I need to figure this out because maybe I need to get her type of exclusivity to get money. I was like, what? These people sending her thousands of dollars. I was like, to look at her on the jail vid. I was like, oh, okay, this is absolutely wild. But hey, what can I say? It is a
She
case.
got. I mean, barring her conviction getting overturned through the appeal, she has until at least she got 10 more years or 11. She has until at least 2037. They said that's her first parole hearing. It's 2037, so she got 11 more years.
She said that she's going to be 30 something, and that's going to be too old to have kids, so she needs to get out sooner. So, y'all want to let her out so she can reproduce.
I don't think she needs to reproduce, child. Her parents shouldn't have reproduced. How about that?
You know what? Well, on that note, I'm going to go because truer words were never spoken.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming up, boo. Thanks for sharing that information. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, y'all. We about to get out of here. As y'all can see, I'm fading. Y'all see me over here yawning and shit. So let me get out of here. But I will see y'all tomorrow. We got to get caught up on Love and Marriage Huntsville and Bell Collective Birmingham and the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Mwah. Peace.